Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler every series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I could definitely use some caffeine, but we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. And whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means that I was on my way home from work and I found some shit to review for you. And that's not the case today. No, actually, I picked this up a few days ago. I was out and about doing some shopping, as I've been known to do. And, I always like to keep my eyes open, potential review items and stuff like that. That's how I'm able to keep the content churning out, because, let's be honest, at this point, it's not about quality, it's more about quantity. I'm effectively brute forcing my way to extremely minimal success. But I did find this, and it seemed like the perfect thing, what with spooky season, it's coming out. So I was like, cool. But what is it? It happens to be, boom, it is from Bones Coffee Company. This is their Jacked O-Lantern Pumpkin Spice Latte. Because, again, at the time I'm doing this, we are mere days away from the Halloween and all the stuff and all that. And, of course, pumpkin spice has got to be a thing. I reviewed at least one flavor from Bones Coffee, like the Cosmic Unicorn or whatever it was. Go look that up if you're interested. So I'm interested to see what they bring to the pumpkin spice thing, Of course, pumpkin spice can be a bit contentious. Some people don't like it, some people love it. I'm a fan. I think it's a nice thing. Let's get a thing for the thing if we can. I do it like this. Okay. Maybe it'll be better over here. Or not. No, yeah, it's a little bit better. Sure. Let's give it a go. Ah. Well, that tastes good. Really? Okay, I guess. It's not bad, but it's way more mild than I was expecting. I guess maybe because it's a latte, so maybe they're aiming for more of a creamy, a little bit more subtle. Because when I think, pumpkin spice, a lot of places, especially these days, they tend to amp up the spiced aspect of it. So, you get that nice little hit. This not so much. It's much more mellow. And it's not inherently a bad thing, it depends on what you want, but it's not what I was expecting. Even the pumpkin flavor, it's there, but it's much more subtle. It seems like in this instance, instead of really focusing on the pumpkin or the spice aspect of things, it seems like they still wanted to really kind of have the latte aspect be the main focus, because again, it's a very nice, very sort of smooth, creamy experience. But yeah, the pumpkin is fairly subtle. The spiced aspect is, I would say, even more subtle than that. You do get a little bit of an edge more at the tail end of the drinking experience. But I'll be honest with you, this is definitely the most subtle I have had, I think, of any pumpkin spice thing that I've ever had, whether I was reviewing it or just, trying it for my own thing. Even when I think back to my gas station days, try not to do that very often, we had a, cappuccino machine over there. And we would go over there and we would get, different mixes to put in the machine. And one of the seasonal ones that we would get would be like a pumpkin spice one. And that, I honestly think, had more pumpkin spice flavor than this does. I guess, yeah, like I said, it just depends on what you're expecting and what you want out of your pumpkin spice experience. This isn't a bad experience, but it's definitely very different. Um, Honestly, if you didn't tell me that it was pumpkin spice, I don't know that that's where my mind would immediately go. I think I'd be able to suss it out, like if I kind of worked at it a bit, but like, yeah, because it's just, hmm, yeah, very different than what I was expecting. Especially with the fact, you're calling it Jacked O Lantern. I was like, okay, cool. I honestly was expecting extra kick, like, but no. Hmm. It's not bad, but I don't know. I'm not that into it. Like the experience itself is nice, um, for what it is, but like what it is isn't what I was wanting from it, and what I kind of feel like it should be. Huh. All right. Well, two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? No, and kinda. Now, here's the thing, folks. I typically like Bones Coffee, the Bones Coffee Company stuff. I like the unicorn one. I know I tried, what was it, like the s'mores one, or one of their other ones, or cinnamon one, or some shit. Typically I really like their flavors. This one I figured was going to be an easy win for them. Like pumpkin spice is a well-established flavor, and I don't feel like they were cheaping out on this. I feel like they were intentionally going in a different direction. And again, I think they wanted to sort of highlight the fact that, again, it's still a latte, so they're trying to have that sort of still be a focal point. But the problem is that I commend them on doing something different, but that's not what you're expecting when you get something that's pumpkin spice. You expect that there's going to be, a good amount of pumpkin and spice flavor. And that's just not what you get with this. And, I'm not going to say this wouldn't be for somebody else, but it definitely wouldn't be for me, And again, especially from Bones, like I really was expecting something. I figured they'd put their own twist on it. I was looking forward to that. But the fact that their twist seems to have been just to significantly amp down the flavor, yeah, again, like, I mean, I'll drink the rest of it. It's nice. The latte aspect of it is very nice, but that's not really what I was going in for with this, so I don't think I would get this one again. Maybe if they tweak the formula or something like that. And I'm not saying it has to work just for me, but, and that's kind of why, if I'm recommending it, like, kind of, because it's a nice drink. If you want to try it, feel free, but again, I don't think that I'm alone in my expectations for what a drink should taste like when it's pumpkin spice. I think that pretty much everybody at this point, has that expectation. And again, I think it's fine that they decided to do their own version of it. And it might be very much for some people. Maybe, some people might prefer that more subtle aspect. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not nixing the idea, but at the same time, like I said, I feel like, I feel like my experience is going to be somewhat mimicked in other people if they go in expecting what I was expecting. So, if nothing else, let this review be something of a cautionary review to be like, hey, if you want to try this, go ahead. It's not bad. However, 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of the week, monumental rest of the month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there yourselves a truly pumpkin spice-tastic rest of your life. Because, again, pumpkin spice is good. People need to leave people and their pumpkin spice alone. Although I do like the Meat Canyon pumpkin spice episode that he did a couple years ago. So, I mean, it is a little bit of a thing. But final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your personal take on the pumpkin spice thing? Do you enjoy it? Do you hate it? Do you think they go too far with it? You know, I could, if somebody wanted to argue the point and say that they went a little bit too far with it, I could maybe kind of go with you a little bit on that. But I think that for the most part, it's just, it's a fun little thing. But like, again, some people like to go over there and shit on it. It's like, folks, just let people have their fun. Especially the funny thing about it is you consider, spooky season is like so ubiquitous with pumpkins and, that whole thing and stuff. You'd think people would just be like, oh, it's just part of the fun. But everybody's got to ruin everything for everybody else. So, but what's your take on it? Anyway, bye. Bird!